always checking in, listening to your body, feeling free to slow it down or do something different than I'm cueing anytime. I'll try to give lots of different options for things. So we are going to start in some side lying breathing today. So we haven't started like that in a couple of weeks. So I think it'll feel good. So what you'll do, you can start, let's think about this. So start on your side. So let's come on to your left side. I'll mirror you. So I'm on my right side, but you can come down onto your left, and you probably, my guess is, want your blanket or your pillow underneath your head just for a little bit of support. When you're on your side like this, the ground can feel very far away. You might not, you might not want it, but I think it feels helpful. And then, okay, so start with both palms on top of each other and your knees are 90-degree bent in line with your hips, right? So my knees are bent, they're in line with my hips. I'm completely on my left side, or you're completely on your left side, okay? Before we open up, because what we're going to be doing is opening up to face the ceiling. Before you do that, take your right knee, your top knee, and drive it forward. So I want you to feel like your right knee is in front of your left knee a little bit. Okay, now leave that there. Okay, and then open up. You're gonna like kind of windmill open. Your right palm is going to face the ceiling, and you're gonna open up. From here, we're going to breathe. You have another option though. If you want a little extra like rotational work, you're going to reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. Okay. If that doesn't feel right or that doesn't make sense to some of you, feel free to just leave that arm on the floor, but you could reach the left arm up. Okay. And I'm just looking up at the ceiling. So you're going to feel the rotation in your upper back and your thoracic spine, and my lower back is pretty fixated. Okay. And then you can just tune into your breath here. See if you can inhale through your nose and fill up. And then you'll do a long sighing exhale out of the mouth. Okay. And as you continue to breathe, I'm just going to make sure everyone's on mute. As you continue to breathe, you can see if you can start to visualize breathing into your side body, right? So you'll feel the side body most likely expanding with every inhale, right? And then recoiling on every exhale. Okay, and so we're using this active breath today sort of as our time to drop inwards, as our grounding time. Good. And you might notice this right arm getting a little closer to the floor every time you take a breath. Good. And then before we switch to the other side, come right back to the starting place. So both palms are stacked on top of each other, knees are stacked, and you're going to start to glide your right arm across your left arm. So glide it across the chest, and then open up out just how we were. So you're facing the ceiling, and then windmill the arm back. So you can move through some of these more dynamic thoracic rotations here. The arm glides across the left arm, and then you open up, face the ceiling. Okay, and so you're just kind of checking in with your upper back, your mid back, your shoulder. Good. Awesome. And then when you're ready, you'll go to the other side. So if you just want to turn around, you can do that. I'm going to go to the other side of my mat to make sure that you can see the setup, but you'll now come down onto your right side. You'll probably bring your pillow or your blanket underneath your head. Your knees are bent at 90 degrees. And then you're going to drive your top knee. So now that's your left knee. You're going to drive it forward. Okay. Good. Now, so that knee's in front of your right knee. And then you're going to open up your left arm up and face it towards the ceiling. So now we're coming into this rotational shape. On the other side, check in with that knee, right? Don't let it pull back, okay? We're not going to, like, in quote, compensate through the movement. I want you to try to keep this knee driving forward. Yeah. And then reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Okay, if that feels okay. You could also keep it down. I just think it gives you a little extra stretch um, in the back of the right shoulder. Okay, good. And then again, see if you can inhale, fill up, exhale, long sighing exhale. Okay, and see how this goes on your second side. You might feel a nice opening in your left pec muscle or in the chest. Awesome. And then if this feels really good and you want to take a few more breaths here, you can stay. If you want to move through those rotations, you can head there. So both palms start stacked on top of each other. You're dragging your left arm across your right arm, across your chest, opening up to face the ceiling, and then windmilling that hand back on top of your right palm. Okay, and then you can just let your breath kind of dictate the speed of your movement. Good. Trying not to let your left knee move backwards at all, right? Keep it driving forward. Awesome. Great. Okay. And then you can roll onto your back. You can keep your blanket underneath your head if that feels good, or you can take it out, right? And then see if you can just go ahead, hug your knees towards your chest, and then curl your chin to your chest a few times, right? Um, yeah, see how that feels. Make curl yourself into a nice tight ball, really round the spine. Awesome. And then plant your feet down and extend your right leg straight up. Okay, and then just start to wave the leg inwards and outwards. So right leg straight up and you're crossing the midline and then opening up out to the right side. Okay, keep your left foot glued to the mat. So even though we're moving the right hip, okay, can you keep your left hip and your like left side of your spine, left low back completely glued? And that to help you do that, you can think about anchoring down into the big toe mound, little toe mound, and heel of this left foot. Good. Awesome. From here, we'll reach the left arm up and flex your right ankle. So your toes are pulling towards your face. Start to drag your left heel gently towards your sits bone. So you're just engaging the back of the leg a little bit. And then on your in breath, reach your left arm back. Your right leg lowers to the height of the left knee. And then exhale, come up. And then we're going out to the side. Inhale, left arm out to a T. Right leg opens up out to the side. Exhale, back to center. So see if you can do, maybe 6 to 8 of these. Okay, you're going back and forth and then out to the side. But we're going very slow and controlled because I want you to see if you can connect to your core muscles at all to help you coordinate the movement, right? And connecting to them, you'll be able to do that if you are creating some tension, right, with the bottom of your left foot, really kind of pressing your low back into the mat a bit. Yeah, nice job. Awesome. And then what you're going to do is take this left hand and connect it to your right thigh. So I just bent my right knee to about 90 degrees and I'm pressing them together. My right hand is down on the floor next to me and I'm lifting my hips up into a glute bridge and controlling them down. So you can move your left foot wherever you need to access the movement in a way that feels comfortable for you. So I just moved mine in a little bit. You might need to do the same. And you're inhaling when you lift the hips, exhaling when you control them down. And we're driving the left hand and the right thigh or the right knee into each other. Okay. And then adding the bridge. Good. Nice job. Okay. See if you can do like 2 or 3 more. Great. We'll control the hips down, lengthen the right leg long, reach the left arm back for a cross body, full body stretch. So you're just lengthening left fingertips and right toes away from each other. Awesome. Bring the left arm down by the side, plant the right foot down on your mat, extend the left leg straight up, and you can visit the leg wave to start, right? So this is kind of the prep. So you're thinking about gluing your tripod foot of your right foot into the mat, and then we're just gently moving from this left hip inwards and then out to the side. Okay, but not so much that your right hip is lifting up, right? So you might bring your right hand on your right hip. That might give you some information about what's going on there. Yeah, that can be helpful. Awesome. And then you're going to extend your right arm straight up, flex your left ankle so your toes pull towards your face. Okay. Start to drag your right heel towards your sits bones. Inhale, arm and leg reach away from each other. Exhale back to center. And then inhale, arm goes out to the side, leg goes out to the side. Exhale back to center. You can just move at the rate of your breath. Check in with your face and your neck. See if you can relax those parts. Nice job. And then we'll come through center, bend the left knee, press your right hand and your left thigh into each other, ground down through your right foot and float your hips up. So again, you might need to adjust the placement of your right foot. See if you can keep your big toe mound glued into the mat, right? And we're tucking the tailbone, rolling up and then rolling the spine down. Good. So it's pretty incremental. Yeah, we're not just like abruptly jolting the hips up there. Good. Awesome. Okay. You're still driving the hand and the thigh into each other. Good. Great. And we'll settle the hips, extend the left leg long, reach the right arm back, full body stretch, lengthen foot and hand away from each other. Awesome. And then grab one of your blocks. We're going to place it right in between the shins. So legs are going straight up towards the ceiling. Block is going in between the shins. Okay. Just start by flexing and pointing the ankles a few times and start to hug your block. So we're going to start to warm up the inner thighs a little bit and get them firing with our low belly muscles. Yeah, so just start by moving the ankles. Good. And then start to circle the ankles, but you're still hugging that block. And you'll go in both directions. Fairly slow circle. It's not a fast circle. Good. And then you can relax the ankle joint and just gently rock your low back side to side. See if you can notice if when you go to one side, can you feel like your core muscles working to react to your movement at all? Yeah. Okay. Good. And you'll feel the difference if you engage a little further into your block with your legs. You'll feel more work happening in those inner thighs. Good. Okay, now bend the knees 90 degrees, same exact movement. Okay, I'm going to take my arms out to a T, have the palms facing the ceiling. Same movement, bent knees. Okay, rocking side to side. Awesome. We're going to pause here, keep hugging the block between the shins. You're going to circle the arms down by your sides, reach them up and all the way back. So reach, reach, reach. We're going to warm up the shoulders a little bit so the arms are reaching back and then they come around down all the way by your side. So see if you can do about 5 good big arm shoulder circles here. You're still hugging that block in between your legs, right? You'll probably notice as they start to get tired, you won't engage quite so much. That's okay. Good. And then after your fifth circle, you can have your arms either out in a T or down by your sides, whatever feels better to you. Last part of the movement here, you're going to point the toes. Okay. You're going to start to reach your toes towards the floor without changing the 90-degree angle behind your knee. So you might not go all the way to the floor, right? You might only go about halfway and then pull the knees right back over the hips. Okay. So you'll know you went too far if your low back pops up off the floor, okay? So the floor is really far away to also keep the core engaged. So you're probably not going to go all the way, right? And see if you can do about 5 to 6. Good. Make sure that you're paying close attention, feeling free to rest whenever you need to. Good. Yeah, so you probably can, my guess is you can really feel this one in the abs and in the inner thighs. Good. Awesome. Okay. Whenever you're ready, you can take your block out. We'll take the feet mat width distance apart and drop the knees side to side. Windshield wiper here. Maybe you drop the knees to the left and head looks right. And then head looks left, knees drop over to the right. Nice job. So we're going to just do one more thing on our backs here before we change shape. Want to get the hamstrings a little more warmed up. So you're going to walk your heels forward. So instead of like coming into like a classic bridge, we're coming into a long lever bridge. So that might look more like this for some of you, and it might look more like this for some of you, just somewhere that you have more than a 90-degree angle behind your knee, okay? You might need to adjust depending, okay? But it's a longer lever than your usual bridge, okay? And from here, you can have your arms down by your side, scoop your tailbone under, drag your heels back towards your butt, lift your hips, and pause, okay? So in this shape, right, we're tucking the tail, you're dragging your heels back towards you. You're gonna inhale and reach the arms all the way up and back. The thumbs maybe tap the floor, and then exhale, arms come down by your sides. See if you can just do that about 5 to 8 times. All right, feel free to lower the hips anytime you need to. See if you can think about pressing your heels evenly into the floor, right? And if you're not getting this in the hamstrings, just walk your heels further from your sits bones and you will. Okay, nice job. And when you're ready, hips settle down, lengthen the legs along on your mat, reach your arms behind you, full body stretch. And then maybe you draw your heels in towards your sits bones and start to kick the heels on the hamstring attachments and get some blood flow in the backs of the legs. That can be really nice, just kind of checking in at the backs of the legs now. Yeah, awesome. Okay, and then we're going to roll over and head towards a tabletop. You can stick your blanket underneath the knees for some padding. Gonna do some fun stuff here. Okay, so let's start with your block under your left knee. Okay, so block or a book. So I'm actually not going to use my blanket, but you can stick your block or a book because the block might be too high for some of you, because I want you to have your right knee on the floor next to your block. So if you come into your tabletop and having your left knee up on the block is either painful or just like you're like, no, then a book will do. Okay. You could also just have it on the mat. The hips would just be symmetrical and it would just feel a little different than what we're going to do, but it would still work. Okay. And so first, I just want you to rock your hips back and forth a few times with your knee elevated. Okay. Try to keep your head in line with your spine, right? Try not to let your head sink. Good. Yeah. And again, some of you might want something lower. You could even like put the knee on your blanket or your towel instead of your block. And that might work too. We're just trying to make the shape a little bit asymmetrical and get some kind of expansion in different areas. Good. So we're just rocking back and forth here. Awesome. Okay. And then, okay, you're going to think about moving through some like cat cow shape with just your low back. Okay, so you're gonna stick your butt up towards the ceiling, create a little bit of an arch in your low back, and then tuck your tail, kind of pull your belly button to your spine. Good. But I don't want you to use your upper back or your head as you do it. So see if you can just keep your head right in line with your spine, right? And that's just to practice differentiating the different parts of our spine, right? So we tend to have these tendencies to try to like use our head every time we move the spine, but we really don't have to. It's kind of something good to practice. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, now find a neutral place between those two extremes. Curl your right toes under, and you're going to lift your right knee up off the mat so it's higher than your left knee, and then drop your right knee down. And see if you can play with this hip hike maybe, 5 to 8 times. Okay, you might shift your weight like into your left knee quite a bit, and then I'm just hiking my right hip up, dropping my right hip down. My right foot stays on the mat. Okay, so it's just the knee that's lifting up. Good. Really, really nice. Awesome. The next time you lift the knee, extend the right leg straight back. Perfect. And then see if you can do a couple of heel pulses here. So spread out your weight evenly between both hands, and we're just pulsing the right heel back and forth, probably a little bit of a calf stretch or in the ankle, a little bit of ankle movement, a little bit of calf stretch. Okay, we'll pause that movement, press the floor away from you with your palms, and extend your left arm forward like you're going to shake someone's hand. Okay, good. So now I'm going to give you two options. We are going to work on our vestibular system here. So you're going to find a spot on the floor in front of you to focus your gaze, okay, like a drishti. Now keep your eyes focused on that spot and just start to move your head up and down without changing your eyes, okay? If you want the challenge, you float your back leg 1 inch off the floor. Okay, so we're working that vestibular system. Notice if your eyes change their spot or if you can keep your eyes fixated. Now turn your head left and or side to side. Okay, so now go side to side. You're kind of moving right ear towards right shoulder, left ear towards left shoulder. We're going horizontal with the head. Good. Okay, so challenging things up in a familiar shape today. Awesome. Bring your left hand down to the mat and step your right foot forward in between your hands and then roll your spine up. So see if you can kind of tuck your tail, round your spine, tuck your chin, roll on up nice and slow. Awesome. And then just arrive in your 90-90 lunge. Your back knee is on your block still. Great. And we're going to interlace the hands behind the head and just rotate our rib cage to the right and then rotate to the left. Try not to have this movement coming from the pelvis. Okay, it's happening at the rib cage if possible. Good. And if you tuck the tailbone a bit, you might get a nice stretch in your left hip. Good. Awesome. Okay, and then take your right hand to the outside of your right leg, just right outside. Okay, good. And then reach your left arm up towards the ceiling and side bend to your right. Okay, and then like pause here and try to lengthen your left hip or your left knee really away from your left fingertips. Good. Take a few breaths. Side body stretch. Awesome. Slowly come out of it. We're going to bring both hands back down to the floor. Awesome. Extend this right leg straight back. So the way that we entered, right? So you're back in the starting shape and then push into your right foot and lift your left leg all the way up and back behind you. Three-legged downward dog, early three-legged dog. Push the mat away from you. Rotate your left hip away from your right leg and then rotate your left hip inwards towards your right leg. Okay, so see if you can play with this hip opener a few times here, right? And we do it sometimes in our tabletop, right? We're doing this movement today in three-legged dog. Still searching for a name for this. So if you think of one, let me know. Good. So the hip rotates outward, right? Hip, knee, and foot rotate away from your right leg. Hip, knee, and foot rotate towards the right leg. Awesome job. Okay, rock forward, bring your left knee back to your block, bring your right knee back to the floor, and then you can take your block out and just walk your hands in. We'll come to a tall kneeling and let your arms rotate you side to side. Reset, ring out your movement a bit. Nice job. And then stick your block now underneath your right knee or your book, right? If the block is too high, again, you might want to try a book. It will feel better if this you're having any issues with this. Okay. Some of us were just really tight in our hips and our low back and need something lower. Okay. So first, once you arrive here, you're just rocking the hips back and forth. And it's not going to be as probably as large as your usual rock back. It'll probably feel a little different. It'll probably be a smaller movement. Good. Yep. Head stays in line with spine for this. And then we pause in our neutral table, and you're going to come into those just lower half of the spine cat cows. So it's subtle. Try not to move abruptly, right? Try to fluidly tuck under, pull belly button to spine, and then slowly stick the butt up towards the ceiling. Okay. But don't like go 100% effort. Try 50% effort. Try to keep the core active as you move. Yeah, nice job. And then from here, okay, you find a neutral place. Your butt's not sticking up, but it's not super tucked. You find a neutral place, tuck your left toes under, and then lift your left knee higher than your right knee, drop your left knee down, right? So I'm hiking my left hip, dropping my left hip. Just kind of see how that feels. Maybe you feel some work in your core or some lengthening in different parts of the hips or the spine. Good. Awesome. The next time the knee's off the floor, extend the left leg straight back, even out the weight between your palms, and pulse your left heel back and forth. Okay. So again, head staying in line with spine, even though that probably takes some effort. And then ball of left foot is pressing into the floor as you're pulsing the heel. We'll pause and extend the right arm forward. Find a spot to focus your eyes anywhere in front of you. You decide if you want to lift your back leg an inch off the floor or not. And we're drawing a vertical line with our head. So our head is moving up and down, okay? But our eyes are focused on this one spot, okay? And just see how your body responds. See what happens, okay? Our vestibular system is like works with our balance system. Good. And now see if you can go side to side. So you can drop like one ear towards one shoulder, one ear towards the other. Okay. Good. So we're moving the head, but keeping the eyes fixed. Okay. What do you notice? Does your core work differently? Did your heart rate change? Did you topple over? Okay. Just see what happens. And then bring your right hand down to the floor. Step your left leg forward in between your hands, and then ground your spine, roll up one vertebrae at a time. We're in our 90-90 half kneeling. We're interlacing the hands behind the head, keeping the hips square to the wall or whatever you're facing, and then rotating your heart to the left, rotating your heart to the right. Nice job. Get a little rotation there. And then we'll come out of it. You're going to bring your left hand to the outside of your left leg, right outside the thigh. Reach the right arm up. Definitely tuck under here so you can get a bit of a stretch in your right leg. And then side bend to your left. We'll take a few breaths. And then slowly come out of it. You'll bring both hands back down to your mat to frame this left foot. It's your left leg that goes straight back now. So we come back to that starting shape, and then it's your right leg that's going up in the air to the three-legged downward dog. Right leg's going up, Right now, your hip is facing the floor. Now you're gonna rotate open your hip, knee, and foot face away from your left leg, and then rotate the other way, hip, knee, and foot face your left leg. Okay, see if you can play with that a few times. Good. So now we're kind of moving our lower half of our spine on the right side, keeping our upper body pretty anchored or pretty still. Good. And then rock forward. You can bring your right knee back to the block, bring the left knee back to the mat. Take your block out from underneath the knee. One more time, walk your hands in to your tall kneeling. This time, bring your fingertips to your shoulders and rotate the rib cage a little quicker, right? Side to side, kind of bring out the movement. Nice job. Good. Getting nice and warmed up. All right, and then you can bring your hands back to your mat where you're in tabletop. Spread through your palms, press the floor away from you. Tuck the toes under, lift your knees up off your mat into your hover. Great, and then rock your hips back towards your heels. And then you're gonna really take a second here and get your hips as far back as you can. Then start to reach them up. You'll pause in a bent knee downward dog. So you're looking right in between your ankles. Your face, neck, head, jaw are relaxed. Keep your bent knees. Drop your heels any amount towards the floor. Lift the heels up towards the ceiling. Okay, so they're calf raises with bent knees. So we're lowering the heels towards the floor, lifting the heels up, keeping a bent knee in our downward dog, right? And the degree to how much the knee stays bent is going to be different for everyone. Okay, but try not to be straightening and then rebending the knee. Try to keep the knee bent. Just move from the ankle. Yeah, good. And then let your heels fall wherever they may, and then go ahead, straighten the legs. You can pedal the feet or walk your dog out. Check in. Awesome. Okay, great. And then we're going to rock forward to a high plank and lower the body all the way down to the mat. Nice and slow. We're going to meet on our bellies. You can drop your knees down or not, okay? But take your time, right? See if you can go, as slow as you're comfortable here. We're lowering with control. We meet all the way on the ground. Sweep the arms forward. Bring the forehead to your mat. Bend the knees. Gently sway the legs side to side. Windshield wiper. Yeah, good. Take a moment, reconnect to your natural breath. Great. And then you can bring the tops of your feet down to the mat. Glue the tops of the feet down and kind of tuck your tailbone under so that you feel the lower body activating. Okay, kneecaps lift up. Good. And then forehead is down on the mat. Arms go out in a T. And then bend your elbows so the hands interlace behind your head. And then get your elbows up nice and high. Keeping your lower body fixated, lift your chest and your head up into your hands. And then control back down, tap the mat. You might want a blanket or a washcloth or something underneath your forehead if this shape bothers your nose or anything. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But we're just lifting up and down using these kind of bra strap area, mid-back muscles to help us. And then you're gonna pause with your upper body lifted. Now you're rotating to your right. Your left elbow taps the floor, okay? And then rotating to the left, right elbow taps the floor. So I've been calling this airplane or rotational airplane here, but our lower body is not moving. So both sides of your pelvis are pressing into the mat, and it's your upper body that's rotating side to side. Good. Awesome. Come through center, take the arms back out to a T, and then you're going to spin your palms to face each other and try to lift the arms up a bit. Your elbows are straight. You're pulling your palms towards each other. Squeeze your triceps. Gaze is right down at the mat in front of you. And then all you're going to do here is imagine you had a plumb line coming out the crown of your head. Rotate your head, look to the right, and then rotate your head, look to the left. Okay, see if you can do that a couple of times. Make sure you didn't start holding the breath. Still squeezing the palms together. And then we're going to do a big butterfly stroke, big arm circle all the way forward. Relax the upper body down, arms are forward, okay? And then just relax the body as much as you can and shimmy, shake out the hips, right? You can go quick, you can go slow. See what feels good to you. You can do it more of a shake or more of a dance. Yeah, awesome. Good, and then we'll move to our scorpion stretch, free up the low back and the spine a bit. So turn your head, face your right hand. You come onto your left cheek, and then you're going to bend your right knee and lift your right foot up and cross it over towards the floor behind you. Take a few breaths here. Okay, so it's okay if the right foot doesn't need to touch the floor. In some bodies it might touch, in some cases it might not. Take a few good breaths. And then we'll reverse it, come back onto your belly and look at your left hand, bend your left knee, lift your left leg up and over. You're reaching the left big toe towards the floor. Couple of breaths into your left side body here. Awesome. Roll back onto your front, sweep the arms forward first, and then drag the arms back. Okay, so today, for Sphinx, instead of having our palms facing the floor, we're going to spin the palms to face the ceiling. Unless that bothers you, okay, if that bothers you, keep the palms flat, okay? But if you can, try to reach your thumbnails towards the floor. And then instead of sinking towards the floor, press the floor away from you. Get your rib cage up towards the ceiling. Good. And then drag your elbows towards your hips. Good. Take a few breaths in Sphinx here, right? You're thinking about growing your heart through your hands. And the tops of my feet are pushing into my mat. Nice job. And so 2 options. We're going to transition into forearm plank variation. So you'll curl your toes under. You can lift just your hips, okay, and walk your knees in a little bit, or you can lift your hips and your knees and come into a more classic forearm plank. Good. And then you're gonna like pulsate the body back and forth. So just like we did those heel pulses earlier with one leg at a time, we're doing 2 feet. And if you're on your knees, you can pulsate with the knees down as well, right? So you're just rocking back and forth, but it's rhythmic, okay? And it's kind of quick. Yeah, it's rhythmic and kind of quick. Exactly. It's like a reverberation. Yeah, nice job. Okay, so from here, you decide. You can head towards your child's pose if you're ready for a rest. If dolphin is part of your practice and you're feeling good, you're going to pause that movement and just start to walk your feet towards your elbows with bent knees, and we'll head towards our dolphin. So spread through the palms, press your rib cage towards your thighs, let your heels sink towards the floor any amount, and go ahead, take 3 to 4 nice breaths here. Okay, gaze is right in between your ankles, face and neck are relaxed. And when you're ready, you'll drop your knees down, uncurl the toes, take your hands, stick them down by your feet, let your forehead rest on your mat, let your shoulder blades melt away from each other. Connect to your natural breath, let your belly be nice and soft. Take a moment to check in. Maybe you're taking inventory. And then you're going to take your arms out wide and sweep them forward. See if you can make soft fists and just move your wrists around a little bit before we make our way up. So you might just flex and extend them or rotate them, do half circles if the floor is in the way. Just bring a little bit of attention to the wrist, a little bit of movement. And when you're ready, you can flatten the palms down on your mat
and start to roll your spine up. So your hips are going to lift off your heels. You're tucking the tail, rounding the lower back, the mid back, the upper back. So you're rounding the spine up just like a wave. And we'll come to tabletop, curl our toes under, lift the knees up, rock the hips back towards the heels, and then up towards your downward facing dog, right? You're spreading through the palms, firmly pressing the mat away from you. Walk your hands back towards your feet first at the back of the mat. Soften the knees, relax the head, think bobblehead. Ground down through the tripod of your feet and just roll up about halfway. Imagine you are holding weights in your hands and then just sway to your left and sway over to your right. So feet are rooted down and this is, this is a feel good in theory. Hopefully it feels good for everyone. Movement, right? Rocking side to side, getting a little bit of lengthening, stretching in the low back. Feel free to round your spine as much as you need to. Good. And then bring your hands back down to your mat. I want you to walk forward, kind of inchworm forward. Okay, good. So you're back in your downward dog. And now walk your feet towards your hands at the front of the mat. And this time you're going to grab onto your strap or your band, root down through your feet. Again, soften or bend the knees, and we'll roll on up one vertebrae at a time and arrive in standing. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so we're gonna take our strap or band and do underhand grip. Okay, so underhand grip. Yep, and you're making fists. So my thumbs wrap around my forefingers, underhand grip, and then you're bringing your elbows to a 90-degree angle. Okay, kind of like you were making like a muscle shape. Okay, and then move your arms away from you. So I just want you to spread out your mid back. Okay, spread out your back. Good. Now, see if you can lift your arms up. Think about punching the ceiling and then just lower the arms down. Play with that a few times. So don't let your elbows do this. Don't let the elbows flare. Keep them in, but just think about punching the ceiling with your fist and then lowering down. And do that a few times. Good. Awesome. So the next time that you punch up, you're going to pause. Awesome. Okay. And then go ahead, start to side bend to the right. So you're pushing your left foot into the floor, side bending right, still kind of reaching those arms up. Good. In this shape, turn your heart and rotate a little to the right, and then rotate up towards the left, up towards the left corner. So you're in your side bend, and I'm just rotating to my right, and then I'm rotating up to my left. Good. See how it feels. Okay. It'll be different. You're going to activate your core. Good. Come through center. Come on up. Okay. Lower the arms for just a second. I know it gets tiring in the shoulders. Good. Punch, go right back up. Okay. Elbows stay in. And now side bend to your left and then pause. So you're pushing into your right foot, side bending left. And now you're rotating down into the left. And then you're rotating up and to the right. And you can think about your heart. That's what's rotating, right? Yeah. So you're in a side bend and then we're adding the rotation. Good. You come through center, you come up. We'll just lift the arms any amount higher and then control the arms down. Good. From here, we're going to step, think about this, we're going to step our right leg back. Okay. Good. Right leg back. And if we're going to be doing some lunging. So your back heel is lifted. Okay. And you don't want it to be way back here. It's not a full, huge lunge. It's not super close either. Try to find like a happy medium stance. Okay. And your arms are going to be up here. So your elbows are trying to be in line with the shoulders, right? It's okay if they lower down a little, right? But we're trying to be here. The movement, okay, you're going to start to lower your right knee towards the floor, any amount, and rotate to your left. So you rotate left as you drop your back knee and then slowly come up. Good, right? Rotate left, lower the back knee, slowly come up. Yeah. Okay, see if you can play with this. The arms don't change. So the arms are reaching up the whole time. They don't change as you lower the back knee. Good. And you just find your bottom. So your back knee can go just a little bit down or it go all the way to the floor, right? Find what works for you. Nice job. See if you can do like 2 more. A full body movement for sure. Slowly come up. Awesome. You're just going to let your strap rest in your left hand and your arms are down by your sides. Now from here, keep your left knee softly bent and shift your weight into the front of your left foot. So I'm coming onto my right tiptoe and I want to put as much weight as I can in my left ball of the foot without lifting my heel. And then you can either stay on your right tiptoe or lift your right foot off the mat. You decide. Fixate your eyes on a spot in front of you. Okay. Can everyone still hear me? Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. I just want to make sure because my ear things made a weird noise. So let me know if for some reason something changes. Okay. So your left knee is bent, okay? And we're balancing, okay? And even if you have your big toe on the floor, still balancing, right? Either way. Now your eyes are focused. We're going to visit the vestibular movement one more time. So your head is going to make a vertical line up and down, but my eyes are staying focused on my spot, okay? So my eyes stay fixed, my head is moving. We're just going to do the vertical line this time. And just notice, observe any sensation you're feeling in your left leg. Good. And then when you're ready, you can step your right foot up to meet your left, stand all the way up, and then go ahead, rotate side to side. Your arms can kind of swing you. Yeah. Nice job. Nice job. Okay, so we're going to visit the other side. So you're shifting your weight into your right foot, stepping your left leg back. Again, it's not way back here, not huge, not super close, happy medium. Okay, soften the back knee, the left knee immediately. Okay, and then you're gonna set your strap up. So fists and palms facing face. So underhand grip, spread the shoulder blades. Okay, and then punch the ceiling. Tuck the tailbone under. The movement is a rotation to your right as you lower your back knee any amount, and then slowly stand up. So again, your lunge might just be kind of a little baby lunge, right? You might be here and that's plenty, okay? Or it might be a little bit of a bigger movement, okay? Find the shape in a way that is accessible for you, okay? So it's all good, right? You don't have to go super low to the ground. Good. The arms and the shoulders are probably going to start to fatigue. If it started to be too much, right, you can just bring the arms right down by your sides. Stay with your good breaths. Nice job. And then when you're ready, okay, we come up. You take the strap just in the right hand down by your sides. Now you're shifting your weight forward. You're bending your right leg a little bit, shifting your weight into the front of the right foot, coming onto your left tiptoe. So you decide if you want to lift your left tiptoe off the floor or not, and then fixate your eyes on the spot in front of you. Okay. This time, see if you can turn your head horizontally, look to the right, or you're not looking to the right. You're keeping your eyes on your spot, but you're turning the head to the right and to the left and see how that goes. Right? Good. And you're still focusing on pushing the weight into the ball of the right foot, taking the weight out of the heel. Okay. So hopefully some of us start to feel some calf action, probably some balance challenge here. Even if your tiptoes on the floor, this isn't easy. Awesome. And then when you're ready, step your left leg up to meet your right. We'll stand all the way up, shake out the legs, right? Shake out the legs. Awesome job. Okay. So when you're ready, just take classic overhand grip. So just classic holding the strap. Reach your arms up. So think full body stretch. I want you to root down through your feet. Reach your arms up as high as you can. Full body stretch. And then from here, start to hinge your hips back. So the knees are soft, but not really super bent, and then hinging the hips back, 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 back. So how far can you get your hips away from your hands? We're just gonna hold this shape for 3 breaths, okay? So hips are reaching away from hands. Connect to your breath. Now the weight is more in the heels for sure. Low back is flat. And then go ahead, lower down your strap, plant your hands down on your mat. Step back to your plank. Drop your knees down, uncurl the toes, rock your hips back towards your heels. And then, so we're in child's pose, and then walk your hands over to the right. We'll do a side body stretch here in our child's pose. Lengthen your left hip away from your left hand. And then go ahead, walk your hands over to the left. Lengthen your right hip away from your right hand. Good. Hands come through center. We bring the spine back up through a quadruped tabletop shape. We'll curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back to a downward dog. We have one more little active sequence, and then we'll wind down. So from here, okay, we're in downward dog. I want you to walk your feet out wide. So the feet are mat width apart. They're nice and wide. And then shift forward into a wide-legged plank. And then shift up and back with your hips into the wide-legged downward dog. And just experiment with this a little bit, right? Shift forward and shift back, right? See how that goes. Good. And then the next time that you're in your plank, okay, I want you to see if you can step your right foot outside your right hand, okay? And if you can't get it all the way, just step it somewhere. Grab onto your ankle with your right hand and move it forward, okay? Yeah, okay. It also might be helpful to have your blocks under your hands. That might help some of you too. Okay, so if you really have trouble getting that right foot to the outside, just put your hands on your blocks and it will feel a lot more accessible. Yeah, we could all do that too, okay? Then step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. You can probably see where this is going. We're going to head into our prayer squat. So elbows come inside of inner thighs, palms come together. You're going to come into your deep squat, all right? So you're going to press your elbows and your inner thighs together. Try to get your heart up so we could read your shirt. Someone was facing you, all right? Good. From here, all I want you to do is a little seesaw. So you're going to seesaw your hips up any amount and then down any amount. So I'm going to show you this movement a few ways. You could also come on up to like a standing, right? And just seesaw like up and down like this, okay? If you're down here, right, you can do it like this. You could also bring your hands on your blocks and do it like this, okay? So there's a couple of different ways to access this type of movement. See what works for you. Okay, you can't do it wrong. Good. Nice, nice job. From here, you're gonna plant your palms down on your blocks or your mat. We're in a wide-legged forward fold. Wide-legged forward fold, and then just relax your head. I want you to shake it yes, shake it no. Make sure you're not holding on to any tension. The face, the neck, the head, or the jaw. Okay, with straight legs, I'm gonna turn face you. With straight legs in this wide-legged forward fold, shift your hips to the right and then shift your hips to the left. So both hips are shifting side to side, but see if you get a little bit of a maybe stretch in the inner thigh or maybe a little bit of a release in the back. Good. Nice, nice job. Okay, from here, you're going to keep your right hand down on the floor. You can move it to the center, so it's like right under your nose. And then, so if right hand is down, you're going to rotate to your left, reach your left arm up, little rotation. And then left hand floats to the floor or your block. I think the block is the best option, okay? And then rotate to the right. Good. Awesome. Hand comes down, and we are going to heel toe our feet all the way in towards each other and take a seat on the mat. And you can make your way down any way that's comfortable for you. Okay. So come on to your sits bones. Legs are long in front of you. You can have your hands on either side of your hips. And I just want you to start to shake the legs out and really like kind of shake them on the floor or like on your mat. Get all the blood flowing. Yeah, shake everything out. Hopefully it feels pretty good. Nice job. And then you can take the feet mat width apart, plant the soles of the feet down. The first one we're going to do here, okay, soles of feet stay flat, and you're gonna move your knees side to side, but notice how subtle and small this is. Every part of my foot is staying on the floor. So we're gonna make this a bigger movement in a second, but I just want you to see how it feels like keeping your big toe mound, your little toe mound, your heel, everything on the floor. See how that feels in your hips. Then start to let the bottoms of the foot lift up, okay? And it becomes a little bit of a bigger movement. Yeah, see how that feels? Good. And then, okay, you can make it even bigger. You can drop your knees to the right and you can let them, let the left kind of hip lift up off the mat and then turn around and reach for something behind you with that left hand. Okay, and then reverse it, bring the left hand behind you, drop your knees over to the left, reach for something behind you with the right hand. Okay, and see if you can go back and forth here. So you're reaching from something at a different height of the shelf every time that you reach behind you. So you can do top shelf, medium shelf, bottom shelf. Good. Starting to wind down. So moving at a rate that feels calming, soothing, restorative to you. Nice job. Great. And then we'll meet at the top of our mats, curl into a nice tight ball and head towards about 5 to 8 rock and rolls. If yours tend to be clunkier, set your blanket up behind you. That will cushion things, right? And you want to try to make your rolls as smooth and fluid as possible. Roll your spine along your mat. Nice, nice job. Okay. And if you had your blanket there, you'll want to move it out of your way, make your way down onto your back. You can either roll down, right? Or you can just bring yourself down however works for you. Okay. So, whatever you're feeling, we're going to meet on our backs. Good. And then bring the soles of the feet to the mat, knees are bent, arms come into a goalpost shape. Okay, so about 90 degrees at the elbows. Maybe the hands go a little wider, but try something that resembles this goalpost shape, right? And then shake the head or just rock the head side to side so that you can relax the face, the jaw, the neck muscles. See if you can then pause that movement and just take a moment to arrive or re arrive on your back. Soften the belly. And then what you're going to do is lift your hand and your arm up without lifting the elbow. So the elbow stays on the floor and try to reach your palm towards the floor on the other side. Okay. Reach it as far towards the floor as you can get it and then reverse it. Press the back of the hand back into the floor and just see how this goes. See if you notice any differences in your shoulders, right? So the top of my hand is on the floor, palm faces the ceiling, and then I lift the hands and the forearm up and they reach towards the floor, but the elbow is really staying a fixed point. Good. Nice, nice job. Awesome. Okay, and then arms are going out in a T, both legs are going straight up. Okay, relax the ankle joint, gently sway the leg side to side. Little low back massage here. Good. And then open the legs as wide as you're comfortable. Okay. So again, we'll all be in kind of different spots. That's fine. So just open them as wide as you're comfortable. So we're kind of lengthening the lines of tissue on our inner thighs and all in the inner lines of our legs. Okay, and then point and flex the ankles a few times with your legs out wide. Okay, you don't want it's not the idea isn't to like force a stretch, right? Just let the legs kind of fall where they may, and then relax your ankle movement and take as long as possible to slowly draw your legs together. Okay, so super, super, super slow and see what you feel. Okay, so yeah, like super slow motion. Maybe you want to close the eyes. Good. And then once your legs get all the way to touch, okay, they come together. We're going to draw the knees towards the chest. Take one hand on each shin. Start to circle the knees in opposing directions, one clockwise, one counterclockwise, lubricating the hip joint a little bit. And you can reverse direction. So, really inviting the body to start to relax, wind down, let go. Okay, feel free to take any last adjustment, micro movement, shape, or position that would feel good to you. Maybe you would like a happy baby or one more spinal twist or a figure four, anything that your body's sort of asking for here. We'll take a few moments to explore that. And then find yourself in any comfortable shape, okay? Anything that feels good to you in this moment. Maybe you want to put your blanket under your head or on top of your belly, soften the muscles around the face and around the eyes and in the jaw. Relax the fingers and the toes. Take a few moments of stillness and integration, just resting in awareness, being present to whatever sensations or emotions or thoughts you're experiencing. And then see if you can take a moment to notice anything you're feeling in the body, any sensations. Notice the quality of your breath. Start to invite some gentle movement into your fingers and your toes. Rock the head side to side. And then you can maybe curl yourself into a bit of a ball or take a full body stretch, whatever's going to feel nice to you. And then no rush. We'll take our time and make our way on up to any comfortable seated shape. Maybe wiggle a few more times. And then take a nice inhale as you reach the arms up.
Float the hands together at heart center, and we'll bow forward in gratitude for practicing together today, for being healthy and safe. I hope that felt good. Let me know if you have any questions about anything.